rock star, a real lady killer. But in real life, I'm a short, fat, balding, impotent 40-year-old guy. Everybody at the lumber mill makes fun of me. Why, I couldn't even get a date before I joined Dream Club USA. Now I'm living the life of a playboy. I'm a full-blown alcoholic, and I've even contracted BD 4 times. So if you don't like who you are, why don't you give the number a call that's on the screen right now? It can make somebody out of you. It can make your dreams come true like it did for me.
Dream Club USA. Be the man you always wanted to be. Matt's antics were, to say crazy, were not doing it justice. He was nuts. And he was, like trying to shock people. And the guy never, he didn't remember half the words, so the crowd did, which was really cool. So he'd hand the mic to the guys in the crowd. They'd sing the song, and he'd do some crazy stuff on stage. And, well, the guys in the band didn't really like that. I was, replaced. Actually, they didn't want me from the get-go, I think. It was great to record me and, make songs up. But once we started doing shows, which we hadn't planned on, I'm a crazy mofo. And I was drunk. And, I would ride Angie, my ex-wife, and I would ride. We'd drink a fifth of vodka before we left the house, ride my motorcycle with no helmet, straight over to the Pine Street Theater, and the guy that owned it would let me go into the Pine Street Theater on my motorcycle. I'd get off and do the show. I mean, it was nuts. So they get these other guys and they do recordings with them. They don't tell them they're going to replace them. And Matt had set up a meeting. Matt did all the business. Matt did all the bookings, did all the publicity, did all the postage stuff, and talking, and he met this guy who worked for Journey, a Night Ranger, and wanted to be the manager, and he had set up a meeting, and it was at a Black and Blue Night Ranger gig, he said, and he went down there, and the first night it was him and Kip Doran. Well, he went down and met for all day on the bus, right? Yeah, there was a whole meeting in the bus, and they forged out the future of the Wild Dogs, which now had a name, which was a joke. I mean, the whole thing was a joke, right? It was never a serious band. It was never, we're going to get together, we're going to make it. It was just a fluke. And so we're going to have a meeting with the whole band. The second night, it was a 2-day event. And they came, and they brought this extra guy, and Matt's with him, and he's joking, and, Matt's a friendly guy. He's fun to be around. And they get on the bus to have a meeting, and they introduce this new guy that nobody knows as the new singer. So he left, and he already had the Evil Genius band going because they weren't taking his song serious. So him and Kip and Kenny Goldstein and Ben Linton and Jake Shit. Jake, what's his name? Jake Shit from the Mentors on second guitar. Those Mentors, man, that's a fun bunch to hang around. And Matt's in the movie. He's in what's that called? The Kings of Sleaze. It's a movie. It's won awards. You should go see it. Rent it, buy it, whatever. April Jones made it. And so he's got this band, and they all wear these wigs. They wear the same exact wig. They look like the Way Outs in the Flintstones. But they take limos because people like Matt, and they're offering his services, and they go play these gigs. And all the songs that he wrote for the Third Wild Dogs record were those songs that he'd gotten together with a demo band, which is Kip and They never meant to play live either. He doesn't really like doing performances like that. It's a pain in the ass. And he's a pain in the ass too, because he gets drunk when he does it, or he did. So the band takes him back because the guy doesn't work out. And he sings with the band for the Wild Dogs for another 3 months over the summer or something. And then he gets all these calls from these people. Actually, I got a call too. So what's up with your brother? And I said, what do you mean? So I thought he's in Wild Dogs. And I said, yeah. And so he called their manager, the guy that was at the meeting when they replaced me before. And he said, no, they got a different guy. Don't do any more gigs. And Joe Bloomstone, who's our friend, he was a drummer in that with a punk band, Imperialist Pigs, with Poison Ideas. Tom, big champion, and he said, "Dude, you should just stick him up, stand him up, and stick it to him." And I said, "How?" And Matt's saying, "What do you mean?" He says, "We show up, act like everything's cool, walk out in the mic and say, 'Thank you, good night,' and leave, and then have everybody ask for the money back." And they made $160 with people in on this gag. From Larry Horowitz, the most tightwad promoter, venue owner ever. The place had 600 people, and Matt just walked out. That kind of pissed him off. Deen sang. John Donnelly sang. All the dead people sang. Chris Ackenhausen. And I don't give a shit, I'm thinking, fuck that. People said, well, he shouldn't have done that. And I said, why not? I would have done that. And I applaud Matt for sticking to his guns, because he wasn't really good at that. He'd just go along. So about a year later, Mike Varney decides he wants to do a solo record with Matt, but he can't be Matt McCourt. He has to be somebody else. He has to be, a guy that looks like Gene Simmons. What about this? And like the King Diamond thing. And so he came up with Mastermind. He was Evil Genius, but you couldn't use the word evil. So he was Mastermind. And then there's a band in the Midwest that was Mastermind. They're all twerped out about somebody else using their name, perhaps. And, that's a unique name, Mastermind. It's the name of a fucking game. And so he said, I told him this. I said, you should be a doctor. Because if you're a doctor, every Jewish mother would love you. And who doesn't want a son that's a doctor? You want to be a doctor. Just do that. Nobody can fuck with you, because that's not Mastermind. It's Dr. Mastermind. And it's kind of like Dr. Evil, and which is way before Dr. Evil. But Mike Myers stole my whole shtick here with Madison. Yeah, a long time ago. I've been doing this for even the story where I was frozen. But that's for the Madison Avenue show. Matt becomes Dr. Mastermind, makes his own costume. And the record went #1. He had Deen Castronovo on it. He moved Deen to the Bay Area so he could play with real bands, not these, Northwest half-ass outfits like Wild Dogs. I mean, real bands. And he joined Tony Macalpine, and then got into Bad English and Ozzy Osbourne. And it led from one to the other. And well, Deen's amazing. He is world class. It got him a great career.
Hold on one second. Joey, this world is all. We're sweat. Outside is cold.
Jeff and him had always been recording, but they're not friends. They're not real like close friends because they're two kind of different kinds of people. And he got offers to go play in Germany, but the other guys didn't want to do it. So we got another lineup together with the guy, the Malice drummer that went to L.A. with L.A. I like that. Went to L.A. with Malice. And, well, this is that. That's Michael Brown, another dead guy, and Pete Lothman on drums, who did Deen's parts perfectly. And they opened for lots of, Dio, Dokken, Armored Saint, Thor, Blue Oyster Cult. And is that queued up? Okay. Let's roll that, and we'll be back right here on US Metal TV. I'm Madison Avenue. Here, this is Dr. Mastermind, Starry Night, 1987. I think it was May. I think I just found a poster for this. And then we'll get on to the Wild Dogs that same year. So stay tuned. This is US Metal TV. I'm Matt McCourt, and it's my story today. Yeah. So tell me, what's it like to work with Matt McCourt?
Oh,
What's he like?
Nothing else quite like it in the whole world, man. It's like kind of like working with the ultimate frontman of Evil Genius.
So yeah, man, I'm telling you, playing with Deen was great. I never thought I'd be playing in a band with him because he had his own band called The Enemy that was great, and he was the lead singer, and the guitar player Jacques was amazing, and did all these exotic riffs. long before Marty Friedman did that. And the bass player, Rick Bartell, he was on the Reign of Terror record. In fact, they should have just called that band, because it only had Jeff left from the original Wild Dogs. They should have called that The Enemy, because Deen had so much to do with the Reign of Terror record that it really wasn't a Wild Dogs record. And it was a Deen Castronovo record. He wrote a lot of the songs, and well, they took one of mine. King of the World was one of my riffs, and they took a couple of riffs from Danny, and then Danny got pushed out too, and they brought in Rick. So it was basically The Enemy with some other singer. Mike Furlong, he was a pop singer. He was on American Bandstand, and he had, like, you know, ballady kind of stuff and pop rock, and well, he was on American Bandstand, and he never did any other metal stuff after that. Jurt James, now Jurt James was the third guy that Varney sent me. He said, you know, I got better guitar players than you could ever find up in Portland, and he was right, except for Robert Robinson and Michael Brown, who came later. Well, he sent me Paul Gilbert, and he was still in Pennsylvania, but I really liked Yngwie better than Van Halen style, and Paul Gilbert reminded me of Van Halen. So he put me up with Jurt James, who's from Costa Mesa, California, and he played with Stryper, and he took Yngwie's place in Steeler, and Yngwie taught him all the riffs that he knows, and, you know, Jurt, or Tad as we know him, Jurt James is amazing, and as you just saw right there in the video, and plus he's a hell of a fun guy to hang out with. He's a little bit of an eccentric guy too, only child, so we got along really well. And he's a Hendrix fan. In fact, let's watch this. This is from the Musicians Union Hall, excuse me, in Portland, Oregon. I just came in, sat down, and started doing this. Let's watch this to show the Hendrix influence of blues, and which is very important to me, because if you can't play blues and make me go, wow, that's blues, you're missing a whole bunch of stuff. Tad does everything. Blues, Alan Holdsworth, Yngwie, classical. He's also a violin player. And he also, when he moved to Spain for a while with his wife, he was doing a Jaco Pastorius bass tribute, and very authentic. I don't have any video of that, but I wish I did. So here's Dr. Mastermind, Mach 2. Deen was on tour, I think, with Bad English at this time, or getting into the band. And it's with Scott Spencer. No, this is with Rick Hoffert on drums at Musicians Union Hall. We did 2 gigs like that. One with Scott Spencer and one with Rick Hoffert. And, well, let's go. It's with my 63 jazz bass that I cut the horn off like an idiot. And so it kept falling down. And, well, here, check it out. In 1987, we did another show at the Starry Night, except it was Wild Dogs. It was a Wild Dogs reunion show. Now this time, Michael Furlong was gone from the band, and Deen was out of town, and so he came up for the show, and we did the original members. So it's basically the show you would see in like around 1980, right before they got rid of me. And so, hey, let's go to this.
maybe another 2 years. Thank you for coming.
Bye.